Hello, 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 hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Radio Free Wall Street. You are here, and we've had a stock market rally to record highs, celebrating the fact that the President of the United States saw his key people roll over on him, his mouthpiece, his attorney. State's evidence, oh my God, for immunity from prosecution, light prison term. We have seen his finance guy. Oh, no, not his finance guy. Yeah, the chief financial officer of the Trump administration. Well, guess what? He's now done a deal on Donald Trump and the publicity guy. That was the guy at the National Enquirer. He also has now got an immunity deal. Oh, Donald, you are so fried. So if you can't figure out Donald Trump's going down, well, I can understand that because some people don't figure things out, and that's why they're poor. But people understand ahead of time what to do and how to do it, become rich. Donald Trump's wipeout is the greatest financial gift of God in the history of mankind. Oh, thank you, Donald. Thank you, Donald. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And Donald Trump's, if you want a parallel, if you want to do some research on it, you can Google. You can look at what happened with the run-up and the aftermath of the Nixon impeachment, starting with Spiro Agnew. Spiro who? That's a chewing gum. And what you got is Donald Trump, who's now starting to rival Dick Nixon in his polls. He's very popular among the Trump chumps. But among people who are a little more intelligent, Donald Trump's not doing so well. And I think he's going to lose the female vote this time. Oh, honey, baby, come vote for me. Come sit on daddy's lap, Donald Trump. That worked in the 50s, but it don't work anymore. They don't fall for that shit. Oh, Donald. Can we describe Donald Trump as kind of disgusting and decadent? Well, either people hold that opinion, and you need to think about the aftermath of Donald Trump's presidency. Now, he has started the tit-for-tat trade war. They've gone into effect now, and they will start affecting more and more Americans. The Iran supply issue looms large on the radar screen for sanctions kicking in there. Oil prices are climbing. I think he's got a plan for that, but Donald Trump's screw-ups are now starting to come down home in America. I mean, people are seeing higher prices across the board. We've got lumber prices up 25 to 40%. We're looking at the pickup truck. They're talking about $2,500 to $5,000 price increase there. We are looking at steel price increases across the board of 25 and 30%. And all of a sudden, the Fed goes, screw your punk ass, Donald the Don. We're raising rates. The other governments get along with their people, and our Federal Reserve, they hate me. They don't love me. Donald, oh, shit. The Illuminati, Bill Berger, Deep State Conspiracy, Federal Reserve. Donald, what'd you expect them to do? So Donald Trump is in big shit in trouble. See, big shit? Yeah, you got little shit. Big shit. Donald Trump's big. How big? It's so big. Good guy. Donald Trump is going down. Good guy. And all his good guy friends. By the way, Manafort, who is a treasonous traitor, piece of shit murderer, convicted felon by a jury of his peers, Republicans on there, by the way. So he is going to go down. And Donald Trump's going to pardon him. But you want to hear a little secret? I understand that the state attorney of New York is preparing state charges against Manafort. Oh, Ivanka, can you see? Listen, would she not? Can you imagine with 6-inch spikes? She'd be the most popular date in one of them women's prison. And don't forget her husband, Mr. Sleazeball himself. He's going to be indicted, and I understand Trump Jr. So they're being charged with the charity. That's one prosecution team statewide. Don't care about the Russian collusion here in New York. But the Financial Crime Division of the New York Attorney State has been investigating all of the purchases and sales on Trump buildings and the payments that were made and how that laundromat worked, especially the Trump Tower and the Soho building. And now it turns out that the publisher that bought stories on behalf of Donald Trump to hold them off because try to fix Donald Trump's image is now agreed to become part of the stooges that are snitching out Donald Trump. Now, these kind of people, these guys, champagne, caviar, the types I mean, they don't do real well in prison. And their trophy wives, well, they normally don't stick around to the bitter end, if you know what I mean. And prison has a way of changing men like that. So, they are more than willing to give up what they know. Now, listen to this. At the National Enquirer, there's a safe there that was just full of Trump secrets. Yeah, a big old safe. One of the great big jobbies, And guess who has it along with the tapes and all the gifts from Cohen? The prosecutor. And guess what they're doing? They're going through, okay, this is a federal one, this is a state, federal, state, federal, state, 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 federal, federal, federal. Oh, no pardon. And all of a sudden, this looks like there's going to be oh, shit. And I'm telling you, Donald Trump's going to get impeached. Or he's going to be forced to resign. I don't know which one. Could you see it, the sit-down, Mr. President? I'm from the prosecutor's office, and I thank you for receiving me, sir. And I have a dossier to look at. This is a picture of your son. Here's the list of state charges against him. You might notice the corroborating testimony from many of your former associates and friends. Oh, here's your daughter. List of her crimes. Here's your son-in-law. And here's you, sir. And we were thinking maybe we could save the country a lot of pain and, and just kind of go gracefully, but go. And now I have an associate who knows an attorney who's well familiar with Donald Trump, and he goes, when they hand him a file thick enough, and him and Giuliani go through it, he's adamant that Donald Trump will kind of, like a scolded door, kind of, lick his asshole and kind of leave the room quietly. I can tell you that up until that moment, should we say the moment of truth, where Donald Trump looks into the abyss and realizes his great crimes, of course, people like that don't never really realize them, that's going to be a hell of a pay. Donald Trump said that if he was impeached, the stock market will wipe out. And occasionally Donald Trump is right. The stock market will wipe out if he's impeached. And the stock market will wipe out even if he's not impeached. Got it? Now, we had pushback from the chairman of the Federal Reserve. He didn't like Donald Trump pushing him around. And now Donald Trump's got a problem. He's got a lot of powerful enemies, okay? And his associates that he shit on are now turning evidence against him. See, that's called bad. Yeah, Donald, put on some of those old movies like Scarface, okay? See what happens. So Donald Trump, the most powerful man in the world, has had the worst week of his life. And the story here is that markets had a nice little rally. Oil's popped up. Dollar's gotten trashed a little bit because of Donald Trump attacking the Federal Reserve chairman and their interest rate policy. And bottom line is the Trump presidency is coming unglued. The tax rate bonanza for billionaires has got deficits soaring. They will be 100% of GDP. That's third world country shit. We've got an economic slowdown. The average American is not doing well, even if you get a job at the Interstate 6 cleaning toilets. A nursing home bedpan changer is an up-and-coming job, great career possibility. And the reality is that good-paying, high-paying, secure jobs with benefits don't exist. And the reality is that the Wall Street tax break bonanza for billionaires went to the billionaires. And reality is that middle-class America didn't get squat, shit, nothing, nada. And reality is that these chickens will start to come home to roost in the fourth quarter and the first quarter next year. And the midterm elections will go badly. And now, I want to be very clear here. Our analysis of the situation now is that it's gone so far that if Donald Trump was to win the House and win the Senate and keep them both, he still faces impeachment because the stink is so bad and his crimes are so blatant that the Democrats will cahoot. There'll be collusion between the Democrats and the Republicans to force Donald Trump out. Now, I understand that the strategy has been that they are going to produce a document so devastating that when Donald Trump is confronted with it, that he'll be forced to resign. Very similar to what happened with Tricky Dick Nixon. And that could be very interesting. Nixon's leaving office and resignation devastated the economy, and there was a price to be paid. This time it'll be much worse because Donald Trump has started these mindless trade wars, and these trade wars are going to blow up in his face. They are going to shut down the economy. The Fed is raising rates. That will cause a recession. They're pulling back the quantum easing, 30, 40, 50 billion a month. Not big numbers, but the direction is one of less liquidity out there. So enjoy what you're seeing and realize that the markets are doomed. Real estate is going to crash. Donald Trump and his family face really big, big problems. And their sense of weakness is this. Donald Trump will fall on his sword to save his family. That's the only people he really trusts. And Donald Trump is absolutely, I understand that from someone who is in a position to know that he is absolutely devastated. And he is wiped out. He cannot believe that these people turned on him. He's called them traitors. And he's starting to realize that they have very significant information on Trump that is bad. See, sometimes like a guy like Donald Trump has to wake up and smell the coffee. In the Trump situation, sometimes those moments of elucidation don't happen as fast as they should, let me put it that way. So that means that Dandy Don really has no idea of how much trouble he is in, and he does not realize that the hangman cometh. So it is our opinion that Donald Trump's days as President of the United States are numbered. We believe that there's a disaster going to happen at the end of the runway. We believe that Donald Trump's life in the world is about to fall apart. And we believe that Donald Trump truly does not know what to do, truly does not understand the seriousness of his problems. And we believe his presidency is about to come unglued. I want to be very clear with this. There are phenomenal trading opportunities. Donald Trump will use things like releasing oil from the strategic reserve to try to lower oil prices. Donald Trump will use trade wars to try to bully foreign countries. You know, something very interesting, Kim Yum Numchucks. Remember Kim Yum's mind meld? Well, the mind meld wore off. And Pompeo was supposed to go there and negotiate the denuclearization of North Korea, which Donald Trump already celebrated as a fait accompli. Well, that meeting's been canceled because, well, Donald Trump says they're not serious about removing the nuclear weapons. Don, did you figure that all by yourself? What a brilliant conclusion. What a freaking idiot. You sit there and you go, you just now scratched your ass and realized that you're a chump? And this is an example. This is going to be repeated in Canada. It's going to be repeated in Mexico. It's going to be repeated in Europe. It's going to be repeated in China. And we are going to see Donald Trump's world come apart and his presidency crash. And Donald Trump leaving office in humiliation, either with an impeachment or look at the dossier and let us know your decision, Mr. President. So I could see that moment coming. Prepare yourself. We have now seen enough of the evidence. We now understand enough of the crimes. We now know enough of what the witnesses have to offer that Donald Trump has no chance of surviving this. It's really simple. Resign now, Donald, or these charges stay in a filing cabinet. And once your term is up, your first term, he's not getting a second term, we'll then come after and prosecute you criminally. And you see, a sitting president, as a questionable provision of law, cannot be indicted. But that immunity only extends as long as he is sitting in the seat. Once he leaves the presidency, well, guess what? It's party time. And that's when Donald Trump's world comes to an end. And faced with that reality, we are fairly certain that Donald Trump will resign. We are fairly certain he will not be able to maintain his position as President of the United States. And I'm sure Donald Trump, I'm resigning today because of the deep state, but there was no collusion, no collusion, no collusion. Cohen going to bring him down. His former chief financial officer is going to bring him down. His National Enquirer newspaper publisher is going to bring him down. And I understand that there are others who are willing to talk. They're kind of like proliferate people who were part of the intimidation process, whose stories were never published but purchased, buried. And as those stories start coming out, I understand they're planning on letting them see the light of day in a controlled manner, maybe even before WikiLeaks. If you I love WikiLeaks, and if you have any information on Donald Trump and the people he intimidated and people with dirt, you will be richly rewarded if you release them. Oh, Donald, deja vu all over again, baby, honey. Oh. Talk about the worm has turned. It's payback time, Donald. And I'm telling you, if you had a payback line to get even with Donald Trump for the shit he pulled against you personally, well, Weaselberg has got a safe, a great big safe, the size of 2 closets, full of documentation, signatures, dates, on lots of shit that Donald Trump pulled. Oh. And now the chief financial officer? Well, that was see, you had the laundromat there? Put a quarter in and out comes your money clean as the driven snow. Well, he then collaborates the records they have, by the way. New York State attorney has gone through every property transaction that took place in every Trump building. They really did. And I understand. They got a file and that it's smoking hot, going to burn your hands. State prosecution. So that means that Donald Trump can't even pardon himself. By the way, Donald Trump said he can pardon himself. You sure as can from your federal crimes, but Donald, baby, who loves you, honey dear, you cannot not pardon yourself for state crimes. And in case you don't know it, the state of New York really hates your guts. You triple tax those people. They lost their state tax deduction. They lost their city tax deduction. They lost their real estate tax deduction, elderly care tax deduction. Donald, there are a lot of people who don't like you, buddy. I got an idea. You know, you got the man from Mars, Elon Musk, the Model 3 crapola piece of shit. They shoot him into space. Maybe he and Donald can partner. Can you see it? The Martian Trump Tower jutting up from the Martian landscape, of course painted red, with the golden Trump Tower signature on the building. Melania will adjust to the spacesuit. It ruins my hair. And it'll be okay. And they can live out their days in Mars. Because I'm telling you what, Donald Trump is going down. The economy is going to wipe out. It is done deal. The only people that don't know it are Fox News. Now, the spin doctors will come out and spin how these are bad people. Well, yeah. It's not fair that they testify. Well, let me tell you, they put mob bosses, John Gotti away, and all kinds of people on the same kind of evidence. And Donald Trump will be no different. I mean, you remember he talked about Al Capone, and I think it's ironic that Al Capone's accountant is the one who brought him down on tax evasion, and Donald Trump's chief financial officer is now taking an immunity deal. I want you to let that roll around your brain and think about what that means, because you know what? If you love Donald Trump, I suggest you pray for him and send money and lawyers